Hey y'all, and welcome to Monner's Market, and welcome to the Try It Tuesday challenge. This is one of my favorite challenges, and it is hosted by the beautiful Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs. If you've ever been to my channel before, you know she is absolutely one of my favorite DIYers, and her co-host this month is Whiskey and Wit. So be sure to follow the playlist that will be listed below to see what everyone else has brought for you today. So for DIY number one, which is actually the only DIY I'm doing, I am recreating this bench that She So Crafty created. Now, Dee is so phenomenally talented, it's not even funny. This is where she got her inspiration from. This is her bench, and it is so stinking adorable. This is her bench after she got it all decorated up. So I'm going to do what she said to do, and let's see if I can figure out how to make one like hers. Now, I tried two things different than what she did, and they were both fails. So if you go to her channel, do exactly what she says. Now, this is what she told me to cut, and that's exactly what I cut. So once I got the 1x2s cut, I went and used my little hand sander and just sanded down the edges, because I do cut it myself. So, well, whether you cut it or anybody else cuts it, it's going to be a little bit rough on the edges. So sand it down so you don't get any splinters, and it gives it a really nice smooth finish. Once I got that done and got everything ready to go, I separated my wood, the parts that were going to be painted white and the parts that I was going to be staining. Now, you'll see those two little 3-inch pieces right there, or there's actually 4 there. I don't know what I was thinking, but I did go ahead and stain them, but it was the wrong size, so I had to recut them. So now I'm taking these paint stir sticks, and these were cut. One of them stayed the same at 21 inches, 2 of them were 20 inches, 2 of them were 19 inches, and 2 of them were 18 inches. And then, following the same thing that Dee did, I am putting a piece of tape to hold them in place until I can get them all put together. Now, I am going to be linking her channel where you can watch her, because trust me, you want to follow what she did and definitely not what I did. Now, this is one of the things right here that I did. I did not want the little curve in the paint stir stick on mine, so I thought I would do this and cut paint stir sticks in half. Well, that didn't work. You need a solid piece across the top and a solid piece at the bottom, because if you don't, watch what happens. When I go to pick it up with that tape still on the bottom, you're going to see it break in half. Now, I even went in and added my staples just like she did, but because there was that break in the middle, it loses the whole integrity of the backing. So I was frustrated. I said, you know what? I'm just going to go to my stain. So I used the same stain she used, which is the Varathane Jacobian. It's a beautiful, dark, almost black stain, but it doesn't stain your wood like super dark. Now, the difference in her wood and mine is she used a cheaper wood than I did, and that's only because I couldn't find that wood at my Home Depot. Trust me, I would have much rather saved the $2 extra that I spent on this wood and found that more rustic wood. I love the way it looked when she was done. Now, mine does have a really clean finish, but I love a rustic look. If you've ever been to my channel before, you know I'm into that real, for the 15th time, rustic look, and sort of just like distressing, and I love it. I love making it. I love seeing it. I love decorating with it. And that's what hers had, because she had the cheaper wood. So I'm going in, staining my wood. Another thing too is using this wood here. It has sort of some kind of a finish on it, and it didn't really take this stain like hers did either. So even though it looks good when it's done, Hers is a little darker because it soaked into the wood a little bit better. Now this piece right here for $2.20 is what I replaced to put on the back of my fencing piece so that I would have one full line going across. You see the little dents in the top of those sticks? She had one that was showing on the back of hers, and it turned out beautiful. You don't even notice it when it's done, but I am like super duper OCD, and that was driving me crazy. So I just wanted a solid piece across the back. So I spent the extra $2, cut it in half, and it worked perfect for this. So I took the wood glue, glued it down, and went back off camera and stapled it back down. Now, another thing that I did was I used regular wood glue and not the hot glue stick wood glue that she used. Watch what happens. It was a mess. You see this? Now this is just me trying to make sure that I have my measurements all cut and everything is lined up the way it needs to be, and it is. It's perfect. So this is where things got hairy for the second time. I thought I could just use this wood glue and some regular hot glue and put it together and have it as flawless as Dee's was. No ma'am. No sir. That did not work. It doesn't hold tight enough, and if it would have worked that way, I'm sure she would have done it that way, but she didn't, and now I know why. You see there, it's just falling all over the place. There was no way I could hold it together. Every time I would try to do anything, it would just crumble and fall apart because I was not doing it like she said to do it, which was by using the wood stick hot glue and putting my pieces together with that to hold it in place temporarily until I could go back in and do the things that I'm trying to do here and miserably failing. Like, I only show you a little bit here in this video, but I must have attempted that 10 or 15 times before I gave up. So I'm taking my wood screws and I'm determined to make this work. It didn't happen. It did not happen. No matter how many screws I put in it, no matter how much wood glue I put on it, no matter how much hot glue I put on it, I had to keep taking it apart and redoing it, taking it apart, redoing it. I finally gave up and made another trip back to the store to buy me some wood hot glue. Now, the only pack of wood hot glue that I could find was the little tinky tiny mini sticks. That's me, just like, I'm done. I'm done. Look, I'm so frustrated. I just tore it apart and walked away from it. So I went to Walmart and found the little hot glue, and I went ahead and bought the Sure Bonder, the little one. Now I have another bigger Sure Bonder, but I needed a mini glue gun. This Sure Bonder glue gun was only $3 at Walmart. Now this is my legs. So once I got my box rebuilt the way she told me to do it, and it worked perfectly, now I'm measuring the legs. So she says to go down and take your pencil, go to the 6-inch mark, make a little line, and that's where we're going to know where to put our legs on our box at. Honestly, when I came back and started building the box, I completely forgot to start filming again because I was so frustrated at so many fails of trying to get that one stinking little box together. And had I just listened to what Dee said from the beginning and did exactly as she did, I would have been able to make 3 of them today. Instead, no, it took me all daggum day long to make one, and it shouldn't have, because once I got it figured out with the hot glue, it was a game changer. Let me tell you, this hot glue right here, I don't know what's in it, but when you put your piece down and you hold it for just a couple seconds and it sets, it is not coming apart. Unlike what you saw a minute ago in that hot mess of me fighting over and over and over, trying to make it work, and it just kept falling apart, falling apart, falling apart. So do as Dee does and not as Brenda did. Well, do as I did eventually in the long run, but do as Dee said and go in with the hot, what is it called? Wood. Oh my gosh. Okay, I just got myself tongue tied. Wood stick hot glue. Anyway, once you do that, you're home free. You put your stuff in place, you put it down, and it is held perfectly until you can get your pilot holes drilled and get your screws where they need to be. Now I'm just going in here and putting my little braces on that's going to hold my, I guess they're called handrails. Once you get those little 3-inch pieces right there on, you get them glued down, and then I'll go back and add a little screw in just a minute, not right now, because I'm going to put my little handles on first before I put the screw in. So you just want to put these little pieces right here, glue them down. Once they're glued down on each side, then you just put your handle together and put it right on top of it. So again, I'm just using that wood stick hot glue, and bam, I mean, my God, I could have saved myself a headache, a heartache, some stomping and fussing and carrying on if I'd have just listened to Dee from the beginning. So those are the 2 mistakes that I made. I tried not to go across the whole backing with one piece, and I did not use the hot glue wood stick, or hot wood glue hot stick. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to take my seat and I'm going to glue it together with that same hot glue wood stick. And that stuff is amazing. Like I said a minute ago, I don't know what's in it, but it is nothing like regular hot glue. When it tells you it's going to hold wood, honey, it's going to hold wood right where you put it. I guarantee you I could have put that whole thing together and never even put a screw in it, and it would have held just fine. But I have a little boutique that I'm selling my stuff in locally now, and I don't want to take something up there that's just glued together without it being completely finished. So I did go in and I added my screws in the appropriate places. Now I'm going to try it one more time, just make sure everything's put together right. It is. So I took my white spray paint. This is just 2X Rust-Oleum, and I gave it 2 really good coats of paint. I started to chalk paint it, which would have been fine too, but I just thought it would take so much chalk paint because this is a fairly large piece, and I went ahead and just decided to spray paint it. But it did take 2 coats. I spray painted it the first coat, let it dry, and then I went back in a second time and gave it another good coat. And I did use the Rust-Oleum 2X white satin finish to paint both of them. Now I'm going to take this glue and add my little handles and put it together. I put one handle on, go to the other side, put the other handle on. Look how easy this is when you've got the right tools and the right glue. I mean, my heavens, I still, it's been hours since I've been done, and I'm still mad at myself that I didn't do what she said to begin with, because look how easy this is going together. Now I'm just going to grab my backing that I made. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to run a bead of that glue down there on one side, run another bead down the other side. Then I'm going to go in to those 4 slats right there and drill my little pilot hole, and then add a 2-inch screw to both of those places because it's going all the way through to the front of the leg. So 2 inches to me was perfect for a really good sturdy hold. And once I got that done, I was done. Now I did off camera screw down the arms like I said a few minutes ago. So this is just me going back in and putting the screws in. And once I got the screws in, I was all done. And I am so amazed at how easy this was. Again, once I did it Dee's way and not Brenda's way. This is Dee's and the other one was mine. I'm going to show you mine one more time. Look at that. So thank you, Dee from She's So Crafty, for the inspiration. I love, love, love my stool. Thank you, Sammy at Unicorn Dust Designs, for another wonderful Try It Tuesday. Thank you, Whiskey and Wit, for being the co-host. Thank you for coming to Monter's Market. Thank you for watching. Now make sure you go down to the playlist and see what everyone else has for you today. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would be so honored if you would subscribe to my channel. My name is Brenda, but my grandkids call me Monter, so that's where Monter's Market came from. Do come back if this is your first time here, and either way, give me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment down below, and I'll be sure to answer you back. Have a good day. Be blessed. Bye now.